I know what you're all thinking, that I've had a puncture. Get in. Yeah, I went to see the doctor, and he said, you've got to lose some weight. He says, so don't eat anything fatty. I said, what sort of thing? He said, no, you didn't understand. I said, don't eat anything fatty. So, I have lost a few pounds. That's due to wife's new recipes. It's not that they're nutritious or anything, it's just I can't eat them. He says, takes a steak to kill a vampire, I'll ask him to eat with egg and chips. I like a drink, they tell you ain't got a drink now. Well, I do like a drink, but I'm not an alcoholic. I don't go to meetings or anything. A few of you know that I was in hospital for a couple of days over Christmas, and thank you for all the best wishes out there. But waking up when you're full of drugs, I know one or two of you will know what that's like. And I'm just sort of coming round, and there's this big buxom nurse, and she sort of leans right over me, doing some behind thing. She says, you might not be able to feel out below waist. I says, don't worry, I'll be happy playing with your knuckles. Then she said them famous words, do you want a bedpan? I said, I don't have to do my own cooking, do I? All these storms and that we've had, floods and wind, non-ending seems to be. All damage it's done. 15 quid's worth in Penistone. I put 7 new panes of glass in my greenhouse the other day before I realised my glasses were correct. People down south think we're all faked up here because we don't talk right. And I'm beginning to agree with him. Because if you go around shops and that, you just talk to anybody, you come across bizarre things. I was in the clinic in Penistone the other day. There's a young girl there, ex-Penistone Grammar School, you could tell because all the tattoos were spelled right. And she looked like she'd had makeup put on by a paintball team. And she was very heavily pregnant. And I says, what are you hoping it's going to be? She says, my husband's. Went to the chemist and says, deodorant please. She says, ball type. I said, no, it's from my hands. Went to the butcher's. He said, pound of bacon. She says, lean back. I went, pound of bacon. I had a bad experience first time I ever went to butcher's because I were only 4 and I was born in the 50s when everybody was skint. So I'm in butcher's and I'm 4-year-old with my mum. And my mum says, can I have a pound of scraps for the dog? And I said, oh goody, we're getting a dog. Vets, they're just as bad. I took Cat to the vet, he gave me this little bottle, he says, get Cat 2 of them every day. He said, do you want me to write it on bottle? I says, Cat can't read. School teachers, they know better. I know they're well represented back there. But yeah, I once said to a school teacher, Miss, can you get into trouble for something you haven't done? She says, no, why? I said, I've done my homework. When I was about 7, I don't tell this story because it's a bit embarrassing, but when I was 7, my dad got a job in London and our family moved down. So I'm in this class for the first time, 7-year-old, in London. And they sat there 5 minutes and this voice behind me said, you scruffy little urchin, get yourself back up to Yorkshire, you sheep molesting little gremlin. I was shocked. I've never heard a teacher talk like that. I'll never forget her name. Miss Wilkinson, I think it was. Went to chip shop, says fish and chips twice, says I had it first time. I said, Just as she's wrapping it up, I says, I think that fish is still alive. She says, what makes you think that? I said, setting out for chips. I like to go into Chinese. I love Chinese, and when I go in, I always like to talk to owner, Mr. Lee. And the other day he says to me, "You've come here a long time." I said, "Yeah." "Me never ask, what you do for a living?" I said, "I'm a comedian." He said, "What, you change colour?" They were telling me about his taking his family to the zoo, and he said, "Yeah, at zoo we go. Zookeeper, walk under, big animal, dump on zookeeper." I said, "Giraffe?" He said, "Laugh, I'll help myself." Went to this little cafe down the road, me and Alice, and we gets in, and crumbs all over the table. They're a bit dirty like, so anyway, I says, 2 cups of coffee. You can make sure my mug's clean. So, yeah. Come back, says 2 mugs of coffee. We ordered clean mug. Penniston, we got Penniston lot here.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, you're celebrating this week that you've been twinned with Vegas, Las Vegas. Did you know that? Yeah. Only 2 places on the planet you can pay for sex with chips. Give me time for that. This is weird. A little bit weird, this. My mate rang in last night. He says, "I've been stood outside at wife's grave all day." He says, "She still thinks it's going to be a fish pond." Screwfix are sticking to their policy that it's not a dating agency. Yeah, Wesley saw you there. One thing, little kid swallows a handful of Scrabble letters. So Mum whizzes her to the doctor straight away. Doctor says, "Well, there's no we can do. You just have to wait until they come out naturally. But it could spell disaster." This middle-aged woman comes home to her daughter's house, and just when she gets in, son-in-law's packing his bags, shouting and swearing. She says, "What's the matter?" He says, "It's that daughter of yours." He says, "I texted earlier today, tell her I'm coming back early from fishing. And when I gets back, she's in bed with Patrick Murphy." She goes, "Oh, there must be a simple explanation for this. Just give me a minute." So she goes and sees her daughter, comes back. She says, "I tell you there'd be an easy explanation for it. She didn't get your text." I got requested for this guy. This bloke gets on this aeroplane with this dog, and this bloke says to him, "You can't get on here with that. This is security dog." Yeah, alright. So he gets on plane sets off, and after a bit he goes, dog goes down now, comes back, puts his left paw on his left knee. Bloke says, "What's that mean?" He says, "He found some marijuana in row 18. I went, "Really?" He went, "Yeah." Off he goes, dog comes back, puts his right paw on his right knee. He says, "What's that mean?" He says, "He's found some cocaine in L42. He said, "How is?" He went, dog goes off, comes back, dumps all over his shoe. Well, this bloke's laughing there. He says, "What's that mean?" He said, "I think he's found a bum." I'm going to leave you with Father Arnie's favourite joke. As you probably know, Father Arnie, if he hadn't been a priest, wanted to be a jockey, but he weren't tall enough. And so this guy wakes up seemingly in the middle at night, and through cracking curtains he can see these 5 stars. So he thinks note about it, but he looks at the clock and he sees that it's 5 to 5. So anyway, when he gets up and gets down for his breakfast, he pulls his cornflakes out and it's nearly empty. There's only 5 cornflakes drop out. and he gets paper and it's 5th day at 5th month. He gets to horse racing, and there's a horse called 5 Star racing at 5 o'clock at 50 to 1. He thought, that's it, straight down at Bookies, and he put 500 quid on it. It come 5th. That's enough for me, thank you.